Choosing the right publishing path is absolutely critical because it's going to determine whether you even need to write your manuscript at all. So, how do you choose the best publishing option for you? It all comes down to the purpose for your book and your desired outcomes. The first path is the traditional publishing house. This is the route you hear about most often. Getting published by the big names like Simon & Schuster, Penguin, or Macmillan. The upside is that you get incredible credibility and distribution reach, and your book has the potential to hit the prestigious New York Times bestseller list. The downside is it's highly competitive, with less than 1% of manuscripts getting selected. You'll need a literary agent to even get your foot in the door, and you give up a lot of control over your book's content, messaging, and marketing. The traditional publishing house will have their ghostwriters, editors, and publicity teams shape your book, and you may even have to give up on the copyright. Plus, the process is painfully slow. You're looking at 18 months to 5 years from start to finish. And if your book doesn't perform as well as they had hoped in that initial launch window, they may just leave it to die on the vine. So you're really at the mercy of their priorities and their resources. The second path is the hybrid publishing house. Now, these can still get you on the New York Times or USA Today bestseller lists, which is a big draw, but you have to invest a significant amount of money upfront. Generally between $50,000 and $250,000. The benefit to a hybrid house is more flexibility and negotiating power compared to traditional publishing. You don't need a literary agent, and you have a bit more say in the process. But you still have to be very careful. Any hybrid house guaranteeing a New York Times bestseller is likely a scam, as that's impossible to guarantee. You also need to really understand their funding model. What is it that your upfront investment is covering? Where is it going? Is it just covering the publishing costs, or is it also funding the critical marketing and promotional campaigns? Those can get extremely expensive, so you want to make sure you know what you're paying for ahead of time. The third path is the independent publishing house. Now, these offer the most control and flexibility over your work, but you're responsible for the publishing costs, which typically range between $20,000 to $35,000. Independent publishing houses vary significantly in quality, so you'll want to ask a lot of questions and see a draft of the publishing contract before you ever sign on the dotted line or pay them a cent. Now, when vetting your independent publishing houses, ask about their quality control process. What kinds of editing do they provide, and how many passes do you get? How does their cover design process work, and how many rounds of revisions do you get? Who copyrights the book? Where is the manuscript housed? Who gets the royalties? You want to avoid handing over your valuable intellectual property. Now, with an independent publishing house, you can often negotiate to retain full control over your intellectual property and your manuscript. You don't want your book living in someone else's back office where you could lose access if they go out of business. And be sure to insist on having all of your final files. You'll want those for your records. It's also important to know that independent publishing houses cannot get you on the New York Times or USA Today bestseller lists, but they can help you become an Amazon bestseller. The key is finding an independent publishing house that will partner with you on the business strategy, not just the logistics. The fourth path is self-publishing. Now, I only recommend this if your sole purpose for your book is as a passion project or a legacy piece. For business building books, self-publishing is a huge mistake. You end up making all the rookie errors, from generic covers to poor editing, to bad formatting, to no marketing plan. Self-publishing lacks the credibility and distribution reach that you need. When you self-publish, it's easy to fall into traps like hidden exclusivity provisions or using Amazon's free ISBN numbers, which ties your book to their platform. And of course, you're responsible for navigating all the complexities around copyright, categories, keywords, things that a good publisher would handle for you. Even if you do it right and invest $8,000 to $10,000, you're still missing out on the promotional power and distribution channels that a publisher can provide. Self-publishing is a lot of work for very little return, unless it's truly just a personal project. Now, the fifth and final path is the vanity press or book compilation. This is simply pay to play. It's the fastest path to the accolade of being a best-selling author, but it's mostly smoke and mirrors. There's little quality control, and you risk undermining your credibility if you actually try to promote the book. Vanity presses will let anyone pay to be part of their best-selling book, with minimal editing or oversight. And book compilations can be a minefield, with inconsistent writing quality and potential issues around intellectual property and exclusivity. Steer clear of these unless it's truly just a passion project. So now that you've learned a bit about 5 main paths to publishing, which publishing path best aligns with the goals you have for the book you want to write? Picking the right publishing path for your nonfiction book is one of the most critical decisions you'll make as an author. Get it wrong, and you could end up with a book that doesn't serve your business goals at all. But get it right, and your book can become a powerful strategic asset that opens up all kinds of opportunities. Take the time up front to get really clear on your goals and vet potential publishers thoroughly. The right partner can make all the difference in turning your book into a true business asset and your brand, and provide a steady stream of content and opportunities for years to come. When you reverse engineer your book from your business plan, that's when it becomes a true content creation goldmine. You can pull excerpts, stories, and insights from your manuscript to fuel your social media, your email marketing, your speaking engagements, your courses, and your programs. Your book becomes a never-ending source of authentic, engaging content that helps you show up powerfully and cohesively across every platform. And that level of omnipresence and congruency is what really helps you forge deep connections with your audience. They get to know, like, and trust you as their guide because they feel like they're talking to a friend. Your book is an extension of your unique voice and personality. It's not just dry, generic information. It's your perspective, your expertise, and your journey all woven together in a way that captivates and transforms. That's the kind of book that becomes a true business-building asset. Not one that just sits on Amazon gathering dust, but one that opens doors, attracts your ideal clients, and puts you on the fast track to authority in your niche. So take the time up front to get crystal clear on your purpose, your desired outcomes, and your overall business strategy. That foundation will make every other decision, from choosing your publishing path to crafting your manuscript, so much easier and more impactful. Your book is too valuable of an asset to approach haphazardly. Ready to start crafting your book? I've put together a free resources library filled with actionable tools and strategies to help you write a book that resonates with your audience and positions you as the go-to expert in your niche. Simply scan the QR code to access your free resources. Do connect with me. I can't wait to read your book and celebrate your success.